come one now. Me you me boy, I come one now. Me come back home, the wrong one now. And you're wrong, or the one come yo, or the that yo. I come one now. Me you me boy, the wrong one now. Me come back home, the wrong one now.
Me did the young antechua, and maybe I'm discovered for Europe. I come a bush for Ghana. No, me used to Taptap Send. Taptap Send. No fee mobile money transfer. Easy, convenient, fast, and sounds so free. Won't you share? Me discover a map him. Tap Send. NTN. Also download the Taptap Send app. No, ever mobile phone so free. Let us see come a bush for Ghana for na. Taptap Send. Papa no.
So Christica Manian, pretty me do rap just from me send jam in a minute in Sabacandia and then one tap send.
Yeah, Ebushanfo, we didn't did an akuma patchlewa one. They recommended tap send that mama. And that's our for also look for baby. Diabasa, our rating so yeah. Our year A1 into a piano do tap send. That also is a for tap.
You won't do it, Shrek, a man, son. You won't do it, Gala for sale. You are going to near this coffee here. May and friend for the year, you tap at the move you are. Tap send in this street.
The tap with the one.
Tap, and one in a
Piao.
For a spiritual home, or perhaps you're just a little curious, you're invited to Hyams Park Community Presbyterian Church. Come as you are and experience uplifting music, meaningful messages, and a truly warm atmosphere. We meet every Sunday morning from 11 to 12 at Handsworth Primary School, just a short walk from Hyams Park Station. Bring your family, your friends, and your neighbors. Let's build something beautiful together. We can't wait to meet you.
Hey, come closer. Are you looking to be discovered as an actor here in the UK? Can you act? You have the knack for it? Because I'm doing a one-day acting workshop here in London at the Design District, North Greenwich, on the 21st of February. So if you're interested, apply at screenstarsworkshop.com and I will teach you and guide you on becoming the actor you've always dreamed of. Oh, there's also an opportunity to audition for a role in a production that I'm going to be doing here this year. So go on, few spaces available, do your thing. Yeah, good luck. We're done.
This is Lawyer Wisdom of Wismart Solicitors. Join me this and every Friday on OT TV from 8 to 9 p.m. for all your UK immigration matters. I hope to see you there. Thank you.
A very good evening and welcome to your number one Thursday evening show, Time with Taptap Send, with your servant Nana Kwame Osaitu. Baby Bia will be a memoir Jomo Akwaba Edo Eba Jumadie. So Jumadie Jumadie Bia Yadibro every Thursday Bia Yadibro every Thursday Bia na tap send adwumakuo no ene kita yi mu ema yetimi ede dwumadie ebrɛw enti ene yi se yasan ene wo ahyia na asida kɛseɛ ena yɛde ɛbɛma tap send sɛ ɔmo boa yɛn ema yetimi ede dwumadie yi ebrɛw ma menkɔ tap send aso quickly na me ne ɔmo ntwetwe nkɔmɔ baako mienu miensa eno na chi no me de my special guest for tonight me de no ɛbɛbrɛw na yɛbɛtwetwe nkɔmɔ ede afa finance in marriage yani ti mame ko owura Kofi Frimpong ono ena enei ogina mu ede ema tap eba Europe Kofi memo adwo emo akwa aba nwumre ede obadwumadi so
anakwa memeje oso na mechia ya hwefo ne yatiefo ne obi owo Zoom call so ne obi ohwe ye wo Facebook
yo ene de ye ba tap asoye ya na ye betie nia mowo ede ema yen na watwi
de obi nam se na yesua financial nioma in marriage no tap send so ye one of the ways I would manage your finances into no obi asika so no eno ne kofa asemi ba na yakwa professional abase ombra no meboaye ti enne enwumre the exercise ketu e bi na ya ye wo call you so ya ye wo Facebook ya wo other platforms message nyina ebe ye wo be o tap send app no keke so be app na wo hwe top na bo nse ye diska bi ato a box fe bi edan chen wo mia so a ye say earn 15 euros for every friend that you refer mia eno so keke umia wi a ubon se WhatsApp sign that hot text message ebi ebe charge o ti no anso mia WhatsApp no so na wa shama adofo wo contact ni mu nyina obi a wode obe click wo message no so na wa use dia send it skabia no ubenya 15 euros so wo Europe na nakwa mumia wo dia no UK ya so obi use code na ubenya say
ahanum £5 Mami hwe David Odo.
Mi afun ni mu.
Mami nko.
£5 ne won obi atim but assistant.
Okay, 1 minute.
But obi so obe foforo bit match or chat in US na baby a. Let us know how do you see?
UK there still £5.
Okay. All right.
We did not just say chra a referral but not say onipa ne click so na o use link na ena or they send this kind of be but or click link no so no the download it no the send this car and obenya na wonso yama wonso bonus
obi abedidi sa pepepe so the simplest way click so anu me WhatsApp no then you share with the contact na kwa me buy na say obi asika nso no ntino je kakra kan de ho using the tap send referral in your app.
Okay. Me say there and me papa why busy hwe ni phone so and I just say obeso o share ma na sorry members nyina.
Very necessary. Very very necessary.
Yeah. Kofi you better say referral promo as
papa also for so akwaba ye dana say every time you bought ni pnuma obi and you pese esua ni o ma bebre ko sika de hardwin papa ti the oma ya no oma ya sonte obi akwaba eba show iso
yo Kofi you better say na nwumre ye do tap send focus section na e be san e share e wo ho be da se pa ya no ache abusuafo nso Germany e de amame yo owura Kofi Frimpong edu na wote nenka from Germany and they said the unya ntie no we are going to talk about how we can navigate our finances in marriage or in relationship. Marriage relationship ni nyina abusuafo na be say enunti nyame waye yadom yensa aka yem papa onye hoho e platform so abreni nyina yeto nsa afre na obomoden ebeboa yen ene atwetwe enkomo na bi ho no ma na yente ase no ama yen chechiremu ene so yem papa Reverend Canon Dr. Shadrach Ofosuware, wano ena oye the senior apostle for Freedom Center International Global. Esa enso ena eba eye Ghana Christian Council UK and Ireland wono ene yen chairperson ene nyame waye adom yensa akano oye counselor and it is about our sem any relationship munsemo dia na just say he's the right person for us to have him this evening to have this discussion. Daddy yemo ajo emo akwa banyumre ebajumedie so.
That's
Yo. Na ansa na yebeko yen komo twetwe ne so no ma me ndane me ho na me mfa nkrato baako entwam eno na chi no yebeba talking about navigating finances in marriage. Producer, yen go for quick.
So physical money and pretty me do work to say. For me send ya my in a minute in Sabakandia and then one Taptap Send.
Yeah, ebusiafo bidin di na akoma pachirewa 1. They recommended Taptap Send amamo. And that's how for aba. O send ko fa baby a. Da ye basa. Omo rating so ye. Omo ye A1. Nti obian lo do Taptap Send. Na on say sika fa Taptap.
Yɛbɔ ho de wo kyerɛ amansan yɛbɔ ho de wo kyerɛ Ghana for say yɛwɔ akwantu ne de sika kɔfie nie me yɛn fɛmfa baabi a yɛbɛnu yɛn ho tap edemu fuwa tap send in this astro
The tap de no ana eko.
Taptap and one na
Piao.
For a spiritual home, or perhaps you're just a little curious, you're invited to Hyams Park Community Presbyterian Church. Come as you are and experience uplifting music, meaningful messages, and a truly warm atmosphere. We meet every Sunday morning from 11 to 12 at Handsworth Primary School, just a short walk from Hyams Park Station. Bring your family, your friends, and your neighbors. Let's build something beautiful together. We can't wait to meet you.
Yo, abusiafo sabre ene ebra eso se minumi no ye ba betwetwe enkomo ede afa eye finances in marriage na eba no sikasem a ya na eho asem ka no eya homete pa ewo aware mu wanhwe ya na ede awaregya ye eba anase wanhwe ya na ede ntawantawa aba abusua entem ene yene yempapa eye Reverend Canon Dr. Shadrach Ofosuware ebetwetwe enkomo na ebedu brebia yeba ma wonso ho kwan na wonso wo personal experience anampo bibia wahun ewa aware mu asikasem ehun nsem no eno nso no ubetimi ede wadwenkyere ede aba kwan a challenges eba ye kwan afa so utimi resolve ye anase how utimi handle issue no wonso betimi de aba na yempapa ewo akwankyere bia ono nso no wode ama yo daddy sabre de ye tie se eba no how to navigate finances in marriage saying ena obeka kyerɛ
Itia ubiana and metase say were inviting me to this forum to share my mind. Nyama mekano edosu ba metwa ne tiawa na say obi o question we can throw light on what I've said. Basically, no, any relationship is very expensive. If you really want to go into a relationship, even relationship in your marriage crown, at least Obama presents like birthdays, unia and what you now, what you baby subsika, bueno. That's how relationship. So relationship is about give and take. But when it comes to marriage or marital relationship, we are Christiania. It's very clear that God has given us favor for relationship. Oko Proverbs 18:22. And say, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receive favor. The word favor na e wo ho no che say, a warrior na wo kom no ehia sika. Ehia niama material things. And so God gives you the favor, the man, not the woman, the man, to be able to navigate the relationship. But the reason why women like money is because they are made so. God made it that way. And no matter how we criticize it, it will not change anything because that is how they were made. Uko Bible man from Genesis, yako ware oba ama Isaac no. Omu di sika enoko yako ware no. Dear friend said dowry. But we think about it as something that is just momentarily. No, it's continuation. Intino oko ware oba udi sikako. Sex is expensive. Whether you do it by dowry or you do it by prostitution, you still have to pay. It's important we understand, say, we men have a great responsibility to think through our finances before we decide to bring a woman into our lives. Because the order is the fact that the man must be ready to pay for that benefit. Now, I've put it in a crude way to wake people's thinking up. But to be perfectly honest from the biblical perspective, we have been given that favor. And when we carry that favor now, you could be said or basi. Now, of course, I'm from Sapine and Echo. Ukutia, Niama, Nanyama, no Trian, Unfan Torbano, there be ultimate Tonipa. However, it's an expression that this person you are bringing to your house, you'll be able to look after the person and make sure that she's okay. Because women carry productivity. Into a beme bia on treaty a man right, they are cares. And they will be cares because women carry that productivity. They bring the blood for the covenant of the relationship. That is why the hymen has no purpose but carry blood. And you have to understand, so this relationship, it fosters money. And until God says that I'll give you favor. Why? Because relationship will come, obey all those things. Until Shemupa, oba ewusika krana or expect say obema beheno. Na so oba wusika krasa obema no, na se omo warrior. Ewo mu kroba no tuma obema ni sika expecting say obema ni beyi sika ni bi e dia top present tamano anas or dia hwe because naturally and spiritually that is how it is made. And so we need to first and foremost understand it that way. When we men are able to understand it that way, it will be very easy for us to understand our women. All right. So the question then goes, how do we navigate this? Number one, from where I'm standing, the man must be financially well off to enter that relationship. Number two, the man must put structures in place to bring his wife into that same thing. In Sebi, I'm trying to say, Abrucha warrior, Obama yesi, Oba yesi. You can discuss within the relationship what is comfortable for you. But bottom line, you will have to spend on women, whether they are rich or not. That is a fact of the matter. And I think I've got a lot of things, but to make it very interesting, I'll leave you to ask the questions and I'll answer it.
Okay. Yo, and then Mebusa say, what are some of the common challenges when say couples are facing in their early marriage and how they were able to navigate it?
The thing is, number one, trying to keep up with the Joneses. A big problem in our relation, in our city here, and certainly in Ghana as well, because traditional marriage, I was say our marriage, because traditionally, if I say biblically, our marriage is a traditional marriage. The kind of is the engagement, and what happens is that people spend so much, and the Nigerian culture has now been engulfed in the Ghanaian culture, where now we are doing things in excessive way, and people feel under pressure to do it. And so they borrow money and they get into trouble, and then they have to do the white wedding as well if they are Christians. And by the time if they don't have any backing from their parents or have saved a lot of money, it means that they have to borrow or go with cans and collect money from people. Now, money has the tendency to unite us in relationship. And unfortunately, it also has a tendency to divide us. I have seen many marriages break down because of debt from the marriage itself. And so it's something that people have to look into that. Another thing is selfishness, especially when you live in a country like the UK, where everybody works and everything like that. So one person feels like she's contributing a lot or he's contributing a lot, and the other person is not reciprocating, and that creates the problem. So relationship, trust me, we have talked about communication and everything, but the first thing, in my opinion, that breaks relationship is finance than any other thing. And if people don't understand how to mitigate and deal with some of these things, you are heading towards divorce and separation.
You're heading towards the divorce and separation. And now sometimes obi ehia obi omo aware foforo bibia eye kama but eba sikasem a na ehon eka ehon asem ka no na aba be den. So how should couples initiate money conversation without turning into argument or fight?
Yeah, it's a very powerful question because you see, people don't negotiate, people don't discuss. People assume, most people, it's not all the time. Sometimes I don't like to generalize, but I'm generalizing based on my experience. So forgive me if I generalize, but it's not everybody. But most people have experience. No, they don't negotiate, they don't talk about these things and stuff like that. So when they come into that relationship now, assume so Obama na baby and assume so Obama rich and assume all those things, and then things don't go the way they should, it becomes a problem. What we need to understand is that number one, when you go into a relationship, you must discuss thoroughly what the financial position is going to be. I know situations where the woman earns so much more than the man. All right, so it doesn't make sense then for the woman to be homebound because of children and the man go out. No, maybe the better thing is that the man should stay home and the woman should go. Those of things we have studied from Bible in our day-to-day lives, no, it doesn't work because but those marriages in the culture of the day, our culture has changed drastically into you must be able to see what you can do and navigate. I'll give you a typical example. There are people that will say, we have to have joint account. And your joint account, you need boom. Next year, and that comes because of trust. What you say, if the most sacred and intimate thing that you can ever do is have sex with someone. Now, if you can have sex with someone, why can't you put your money together? That is a big thing that we can discuss. Why can't you put your money together? Now, if you don't trust the person that you are going into a relationship to, then why do you want to go into a relationship anyway? So the biblical position will be the joint account scenario. But with him said, people are crooks. People are not honest. Would you Usikako Bumi, Obahano Berman or this kind of shop afro, and now the side chick. And I say, or the sit down, I'm a bush for without your knowledge. And I saw Bano, actually scanner, alpha tanemu under the marriage. Not also it creates a whole bunch of stuff. So this particular model will not help. That's what I call the biblical model. It will not help a lot of people in today's age. All right. Then we have also contractual where the couple can decide, say we have a joint account where we all contribute X amount to it. And once you've contributed the X amount, obviously, whatever you do with your money is your own business. Whatever the man does with the money is their own business. So long as we all contribute to that fund. And that fund will take off our mortgage, will take off our children, education, will take off other things that we do. Fine. A person they will just not have the joint account, but they will agree that you take off shopping and I take care of bills. And then we both share the mortgage. Something like that. So they have about, I think over the top of my head, about 5 or 6, maybe even 8 systems or structures that people can adopt, which will work for them because of the current situation. But biblically, dear, if you can have sex with somebody and love them, you should be able to share your money with them in terms of joint accounts and stuff like that. But unfortunately, in this day and age, it doesn't work that way because of the nature of the behaviors people have and characters people have.
Abusiafo enwumre yedwetwe enkomo about finances in marriage. Yeni Papa Dr. Shadrach Ofosuware, Reverend Canon Dr. Shadrach Ofosuware.
So do potatoes, Mr.
Bia ma won so ho akwanya na o question bi ana o experience bia won so betimi a share with us for us to have a conversation this evening. Said the beya sikasem enkoye problem emayen ebano aware esem mu. Setting goals and planning together. What are the first step for couples to create alignment when it comes to financial goals?
Number one, understand that the goal for couples in Ghana, for instance, will be very, very different from the goals for couples in the UK or America or in the diaspora. For the simple reason that Obia Ofi Ghana, there's only 1 or 2 people, Amoba Bruchia, almost on Meshapu. Obia Oba Bruchibia Oba for economic reason. Most people I can say. Greener pastures. 1 or 2 people can say me as a missionary to come and evangelize people. but most people, until they already have goals. Perhaps even single, they have goals. So, what about Kromano or something better Kromanche? The Pesica, I could sit down with him, Marco Tinifi. And the Pesica could start a business. Marco. So, before two people come together in the UK or in America or whatever in the diaspora, they have goals already. So, it's important to be able to sit together and discuss the goals and how we're going to help each other way. Because if you don't do that, somebody is going to take advantage of somebody to build their own goals. And then before you realize, after 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years of marriage, you are disadvantaged because obi eyusu edia ayewe. What you say? So if you marry somebody, number one, there must be compatibility. I don't believe in love at first sight because I don't also believe that I have felt the spirituality of the person, so I want to marry them. There are lots of people who are spiritual, who are prayerful, but they are not compatible. Compatibility, me, mommy, and papa worry for 50 years. The reason why I'm worried is succeeding, not because I'm pray in tongues. Even though tongues pray is very important, don't misunderstand. I'm not struggling off. However, they have compatibility. That compatibility comes also by respecting other things like that. And when you have that now, it for the basis to deal things. And they share. Okay, they say no. But maybe chroma. Say me baby me masters, maybe chroma say baby me PhD. PhD never cost me say 20,000. And initial money say me na me dey twa me way. Otia so ba chroma say me me masters. Say the same. My dream say me ntra han check. Me wie me bibi am come back to Ghana. You have to discuss it. How are we going to? So obi feel say obi a disadvantage obi because most often nana oti chroma odim say happen thing bia when they have done this because of no negotiation no be feel say obi you so be. And then at the end of the day, separation. Now for the many madam for be kasai, I check. Mostly hospital, or say the black women there, over 90% of them are there because of depression and issues of marriage. Above madam. And so you realize that these matters affect the women more than it affects the men. If we look the statistics are. So I always tell women that now make sure that you are not disenfranchised in this relationship. So, like you rightly said in the question you asked, negotiating and dealing with this is very important. But before you go into that, you got to make sure that the person is compatible with you. Compatibility, you can live for 10 years without even praying and your marriage will go well because you are compatible. However, if you are not compatible, you have to be praying every single day for sustenance of the relationship. And then when money issues come in, it makes it even worse.
Right. Yeah, Shay, about planning, and tempembe braino, your long term and your short term. But yeah, sometimes I worry for no be brain they don't consider the two. No muye bibia a boom. Yeah, Shay. Bibi to say, how can couples balance their short-term desire or goals and their long-term desires? The answer Bibi to say, vacation, shopping, now about the long-term and so say yes, dying with fear, yeah, planning for retirement. Ebia na say yeah, this is kakoto cement ni ade or ben so person call vacation and also person call shopping away. Na I didn't talk about. How do we balance this?
You can't balance it. That's why I said, we all came to this country. If I would go and do a survey and you realize that almost, I've not done the empirical evidence, but it's certainly from my experience in the 90s, where almost everyone, not saying I will be to me free, Ghana, baby, sorry, mission, and sorry, but most of us, we came primarily with goals. Papa and me mommy, my family business now cut down. Be ye juma, na me mako invest scannership na cut na ho. Me be ye juma mako pay fee theatre because me ni and me papa and mommy near 2-bedroom until me person could sit down. So everybody had way no buy. It's all no ebe worry obia or worry no said a bear then or bebuano. Into whatever your views are, you must support each other. Into no bad person or call holiday. Make available that holiday, no. What you say, say, and I guess the question you're asking is, so musica and so on. Then how do you prioritize? Listen to me. You can prioritize by discussion because at the end of the day, that is how it should be. But if we're going to go by the biblical point, Nadia, it's very, very, very important. I repeat, it's very, very, very important that the man has a strong financial base so that these things don't happen. But if you don't have a financial base, then it'll be 50-50. Until we be I was all no, and you cannot tell you say holiday here until you build the cement. Also, no, anyway. What you say, but if I can be a little partial here, I think the woman's desires must be taken note first before the man's desires.
And then a man boy and papa so papa. You yanko a debt management and savings our realm. What's your ABA step by step plan for ABA couples to tackle debt in their our rear?
I don't believe in debt. It's a type of couples that don't live your life on debt. However, you can borrow to invest. If you really must go into debt, borrow to invest. When you borrow to invest in a building, in a property, in whatever stuff like that, now it will bring you returns. In the UK alone, if you buy a house, you keep that house for 10 years. According to statistics, no, it doubles in value. So, for instance, if you bought a house for 200,000, all right, and you leave it for 10 years, it turns 400,000. I'm in the property market myself, so I know that it is true. It's at the end of the day, think about borrowing to invest, but don't borrow for Italian shoes and even car. We live in a country, for those of you listening from other countries, you know better what happens in your country, but I'm referring to the UK, where you have public buses and all that kind of stuff. There is no need for you to buy a car if it's going to send you into a debt. What do I say? Go on the bus, do stuff, and then when you can afford it, you get yourself a car. And these are some of the things, because you see, keeping up with the Joneses, I hear too much among us Ghanaians. And to the people, I've just come from Ghana. I spent about 6 weeks there, and I saw so many things. I'm like, people run parties, and I'm talking about serious parties with decoration. Who could be sad? Even some of these halls are going for 70,000 Ghana cedis. They don't have it, but they have to do it. And by the time they finish, so much debt. It is not necessary. I think, if you're going to make a headway in relationship, like you rightly said, sit down, think about those things, and then whatever you have to borrow, discuss it. This is what we want to do. Is it viable? Is it going to bring us returns? Then you invest in it. But I don't think that you have to use credit cards to do shopping. I don't think you have to use credit cards to buy Amazon and all those unless you have the money to pay off the credit card. But I am for taking the money, cash, whatever, as a deposit for a building and stuff like that, because definitely in this country, for instance, we live in, houses never go down. When it goes down, it's temporal. It will recover again. And eventually, you'll make your money up. But don't live a life of borrowing.
Don't live a life of borrowing. Daddy, Sebano, our area, ware for sometimes, sikasem ni entire kahwasem papa. Ma ebemu responsibilities ebemu na fe ye kodi ho nkoma na the problem seba yenhwe when it comes to our income, our roles in the family, and how equitable and ye betimi share these responsibilities. I want to ask, how do you discuss earnings, contributions, and financial responsibilities in a fair way? In a fair way, in a sense that no credit say ye kasa ya na beman ni efienity beman na say otimi ye we me can say be obanos so any very good na be onu ni sika ne de o efie ebusiafo wo fie na or how ni nyina be good beman so. How do we go about this in a fair way?
But to be controversial, that is how God designed it. That's how God designed it. I can give you 100 quotations from the Bible. That's how God designed it. God designed for the man to be extremely rich in order to take care of his of his wife and stuff like that. That is why we have the dowry situation. The dowry situation is just to demonstrate to you, the parents of the woman, that I will be able to take care of her. And somebody will argue with me that times have changed, which I do agree with you that times have changed, but the sentiment is still the same. The sentiment is still the same. And we need to look into that. What I tell couples to do, number one, is that nobody all over the world whose basic salary is enough for them. I'm talking about the majority. It's only a few bracket that they earn big, like those in the city and stuff like that. But most people, so the first thing you do is investment. When you marry, you sit back and you ask yourself, how can we make more money? So in the first years of the marriage, you eat small. Kentucky, we back. Let's save that cano. Say open Italian shoes, super shoes every day. Come a very expensive one, a very quality one that will last you long, and then keep. Look, in this country, if you buy a house, for instance, you don't need even hundreds of thousands, just about 20,000 or so. You can get a house in, say, Liverpool and Telford and all those kind of places. And this may apply to other places where people are listening from. And you put somebody there, you can be able to gain about £500 every month from that property. That alone will supplement your income. And if you're able to gather and then take equity on that to another property, before you realize you have 3, 4, 5 properties, and you know what, your holiday, you don't have to come out from your salary. You can take it from one property that you are renting out. Your house you want to buy in Ghana or wherever, you can take the money from out. So you don't have pressure. These are some of the things we have to teach our people. Because at the end of the day, our radio model, love. But when we say love, it gets stale. And what happens is that when it gets to that stage, that's where the financial things come up. No, be one will you cry with Donna, not I said Bonsam, because Sikasam Ayaway. So the first thing is discuss how you're going to make more money. Understand that your 9 to 5 job will not make you a millionaire. Your 9 to 5 job will not give you access. What you say? So the first thing is that sometimes people don't know how to do business. Find a viable business and invest in it. Buy shares, do something, and it will help you out, because what you have to do is that you have to give your children a good life. Because if you don't give your children a good life, they'll be subject to bullies. Can you imagine what school now? Sure, sneakers or channel, any address. You'll be a subject of bullying. What so catch up and say, "Oh, be humble." Na share kume school. No, these days, these things, it's open up for bullying. But we can now, Ubano, why you broken? Because be a bomb of the man, the bad Reebok, Nike, na that no. Ude kume na makalano. Why? Because person of bomb home day are creating a very way. It's a very serious matter you are asking, So we have to talk about it. And you know what? If you're a Christian, even if you're not a Christian, you believe in God. God's grace is made available to you so that you can be able to, because that favor then is a big word. When you say God gives you favor, that favor then means that say responsibility be a will be an no all those things. So that's the discussion you have first. And if you cannot understand that discussion, don't put yourself in debt. Just cut your cloth according to your size.
Just cut your cloth according to your size. Parenting and family finance na conflict resolution na fiama enkofo nkwan na omunso abamu ede omunso questions ede aba yo enkwala eba family ni mu a na financing ho asem no nso no ne dynamics no esesa. So me busa say what financial conversations are essential when planning for children, their education, childcare, and children activities. Yeah.
And the first thing, Maria, you have to discuss how many children you want to have. I know that some people say it is too pretentious, but it is important because, of course, prayerfully, and how many children we don't want to have. And then what is the interval? What you say, worry. I created interval and the quality gaps. The last one and the last one and the one that follows is about almost 8 years. And you gives you room to give the person, the first one, quality life. And by the time I pass it out, free education, what you say. Then the other one, so because child care alone, Chroma is about 700 or something. It's even gone up. And you got to sit down and then budget it well. What you say? Sometimes you walk so now for being not ban home not it. Now daddy sooner bogi it's not nice. You have to prayerfully plan. So only the finances now. There may be one at a time. because I don't know where you're watching from, but if you're watching from the UK, you have free education. So as soon as it gets into the free education system, then at least you have a piece. So the card will flow. And then the next one that comes, and then it gives you maybe 3 years, or 2 years interval. But Joe Baya, so now you plan it. And then also, depending on your finances and your abilities, you start putting some money aside for their university, because it's very expensive now, for their university and stuff like that. And all this, with planning. Again, if you earn a lot, then you need to be able to save into some ISA or something. Let me put a disclaimer here. I'm not a financial advisor. However, as a pastor and a counselor, I see these things all the time. And it's important for you to look at the financial, because these days, money is everything. Money is everything. Most of the divorces I've experienced, it was based on money. Not even sex, based on money. And people have become so aggressive, especially we who are in the diaspora. We divorce more than the people in Ghana. You know why? Because we all came with a vision to do something with money. So as soon as money becomes a problem in a relationship, everybody's back is up. And that is why I agree with your question. We need to discuss that with the children, what we intend to do, the tomorrow. Everything must be on paper. If it is not on paper, it's just a verbal agreement. We all know this is the direction we are going. And God will bless it and cause us to achieve our goals.
Share a banner conflict resolution and so or say, what are some of the common triggers for money related conflicts, and how can couples de-escalate it?
Number one, when people don't live to their obligation. It's the first thing, because especially women feel very, again, it's my experience, so don't take it as gospel, but it's my experience. A lot of time, the women are disenfranchised. And if I'm trying to say, shopping. Obama shopping regularly and very, very faithfully. But Obama drops the womb, gaps the womb, then it cross problem. And these are some of the things. When the responsibilities are clearly defined and somebody does not do what they ought to do, it creates big conflict. And remember, because most of us came here to find money for a goal that we want to, it becomes a problem, a big problem. Then you see the other person as for, and I say, or you're stingy, or also you're generous, and also say, and then it becomes no sex, it sex completely, and then you don't even want to have anything to do with the person. And when it goes on for a long time, then it's a grounds for divorce. Other areas also have to do with the responsibilities with the children, where their finances is concerned. And sometimes it becomes too much on the men, and we leave it on the women, and they complain and it gets to some point. If we cannot be able to handle that, then we walk out of the relationship, and that is number one, in my view, cause of divorce and separation. And the Bible talks about money is a root of all evil. And so the love of money is the root of all evil. So I really see that scripture truth in our relationship, because a lot of relationship, it is not just sex, it is money. Then you have the flames and all those things that have also come into play. But most often, sika yetimia handle sika, senya gani ya kan abu sika, ya handle abu sika, chese ebema abuaye.
Yo, yeah, and there was again, yeah, ebe boy. Yo, Sabri, or the fourth say, oh, any question be we a one so bre, sir, upese ubusa question be, and I saw the contribution be ba, ubeti me at the Abama, so Zoom, no so, Mefro, now the question about, and I say, oh, hearing, Facebook and YouTuber, or the question, a bit to me up to a year. Chat room, comment section, na mafa na me de mebusa e de amount. And in Sabri, my main dane me ho na me fan krato ba kumienu. Eno nechi no meba be famo. All your questions are over at the mind. In the producer, you can for a quick ad break. When we come back, I'll take all your questions.
Me did the young antechua, and maybe I'm discovered for Europe. I come a bush for Ghana. No, me used to tap send, tap send. No fee mobile money transfer. Eye easy, eye convenient, eye fast, and sounds so free. Won't you? Me discover ye map him. Tap Send. Entienne, also download the Taptap Send app no ever mobile phone so free. Na first ka komo abusuya for Ghana fa na nyina. Taptap Send. Papa no.
Hey, come closer. Are you looking to be discovered as an actor here in the UK? Can you act? You have the knack for it? Because I'm doing a one-day acting workshop here in London at the Design District, North Greenwich, on the 21st of February. So if you're interested, apply at screenstarsworkshop.com and I will teach you and guide you on becoming the actor you've always dreamed of. Oh, there's also an opportunity to audition for a role in a production that I'm going to be doing here this year. So go on, few spaces available, do your thing. Yeah, good luck. We're done.
Yo, abusia for yasan ababiemu sabre ebra ye twetwe enkomo ede afa finances in marriage na enanwumre yensa aka the chairperson for Ghana Christian Council UK and Ireland, Reverend Canon Dr. Shadrach Ofosuware. And then you may papa any twetwe enkomo so any question bia na Zoom so a oma unsa so mefa now the question aba Facebook, YouTube so a obetimi the question no e ato comment section ho making kind the amount. Yo papa obi ebusa e wa ha na mo say would you recommend, and I said what would you recommend when it comes to accounts in marriage? Should it be joint? And as will be in being an account, now so be a being account. How do we manage our finances in marriage?
If the couple are really committed to each other and are in for the long haul, and there's no trace of trust, mistrust and stuff, the idea would be joint account. That's the way I personally operate with my wife. However, in that world, be an ideal situation. Some people, unfortunately, even Christians, they will vow to the godliness and stuff, but still, omoye kuru kakra. And so we do seeking na kushim na obi ani nasa kushim no. Now we trace can nyama and send and fata. So if there's no trust in there, then keep your own monies and make an agreement of what runs the family. So for instance, whatever the cost of running the family is, you can have a joint account where you contribute, he also contribute to that account, and then you run the house from that account. So whatever is left with you, you can use it as you please. Nobody has any right to question the way anybody uses their money when they have contributed to the pot. Some people also prefer to have items. So we can say shopping in fufa, member for bills, no matter mortgage, and I bet your mortgage, no matter bills, no matter how much it costs, it will be my responsibility. Then when children are coming up, they can decide that is what we'll do with our children. Maybe taking care of that and uniforms, and you take care of the feeding and stuff like that. So it's all what works for you. I don't think there must be any hard and fast rule. You look at yourselves and what works for you, you do it. But I'll tell you something: if you have any shred of trust issues with your partner, don't go into a joint account. I have seen horrible things happen through people who made joint account and what became of it.
Obisu Busa, I'll say when it comes to finance in marriage and in-laws, what are your tips for discussing money with extended family?
It's a big thing. And I think that sometimes we are both male and female. We are not compassionate to the backgrounds that we're talking about. Let's take a scenario. Nana, no Ghana, me person babuchi, ebusianye, things are not happening well in the family. na ebusia aton koko fa ana se ebusia ya collection na de ama me ana po ebusia ko bobosia se fa kwa brochi na ja eyeye mawa wa be fa unuanom na to say the misfortune in the family will be turned around obaya uye a akọware ba oba na fisika uye nyina wo se utua kakra boae no na odiri nyina ehwe oba. As much as we can say from a Christian perspective that the person's way is to the marriage, from an ethical perspective, it's not right. Because there was some agreements done before the person came to the abroad or wherever. Even if it's not abroad, Puna, Ghana, and Nigeria, wherever you come from now, it is still the same issue. So I think, the honest thing is to have an honest conversation, like I said earlier, before you go into the relationship. And you must be able to bear your heart. Say, hey, Kroma mba idea me nyamo so na me de ka be say na me busuafo so ma me ba no omo se be family no mra enti no say no bra ko be say okay I me kwa me boa odo abo ma enti no me boa kwa ma odo busuafo aba. And people do that. What you say me boa because enyo bia no hie ni sometimes we will be is well to do and stuff will even help you out. So the point is discussion. Discuss all those. Don't hide anything. Because if you hide things, then in the course of the relationship, things come up now. And only they were rejected. To be honest, my background, my debt woman. So not only that, every class come back her. Me call my masters, my pass my buy no. Utria face and who science. I had to do that myself. I took loans here, loans there. Be open about it because look, loans can drown love. What you say? It's no. That's a long bed and too much for now. But back just say any na brabo no uncle. But for me, the honest thing is to talk. It's to talk and be very open at the beginning, and that helps a lot.
Be very open at the beginning. Eno ebuapa. Eno nananka mede eba trust me. Or say, how do you maintain trust whilst staying accountable?
I have to answer that question. But how I do it in my marriage is I'm very open to my wife. There's nowhere I am. My wife doesn't know. What you say? And there's nothing I'm doing now. It doesn't. No. Most often, no. He trusts me until no. So for no, it doesn't query things. And once so you sit down, okay, yeah. Shem kolano, yeah. What you say? Bobu homa, or fifimu. Ultimately, can't say onyan fifimu because that's his nature. Until you just have to accommodate it and then show up everything. Until maintaining trust, is just make sure that you are very open, transparent with the person, and it works that way. Sometimes, I don't know how to put it. Covering up things, very, very challenging. You don't need to cover things up. And sometimes, if the person you are dealing with, is very overly sensitive, sometimes you need to hide some information that would not be helpful to the person. It doesn't mean that you are destroying the marriage. No, there are certain information but that doesn't mean say if push comes to shove, do not expose that information. It's very important we think things that way.
Right. I wish I say any question be also akwenya ewo hono obetimi ede wo question no ede aba na enche bia yempapa enmre no aso enche bia ebeja yempapa manako. Any question when it comes to finance in marriage akwenya ewo hono Zoom no so obetimi ama onsa so now the question no ede aba or any experience and answer contribution bia so eno so no akwenya ho a onsu obetimi ede wo de aba. Okay. Obi ebusa emergency fund. Or say emergency fund na yeah tie kanokran and no any day.
But so can be emergency fund can be that.
Or say emergency fund when you are making savings. You see so ultimi edisi na se bibi eba etum pofri mu a watimi aka no busa se ono emergency fund watiatia anzo no onim the emergency fund na eno ne
and that's more na mo be define what the emergency fund is. What you say, but you cannot put money in the bank at a rate which in my view, again, it depends on your capacity to save. But if your capacity to save is reasonably good, you rather invest it in a property or something. Because with that, anytime you have an emergency, you can take some money out of it. Banks even can loan you money on that property, so it will not be affecting your day-to-day run in the family. What yes, if I say, which mean me I 2 years, we save 20,000 enter dying enter down London, but bet matter dying in outskirts of London. Maybe crapper, you may need only about 15,000 deposit, maybe 10,000 deposit. However, the rent value never out of it, is very significant. If you cry to me from 100,000 house, you can get 500 in profit after paying them interest-free mortgage. And you can use those things as an emergency fund. What I say, because I personally don't encourage people saving money, anything 10,000 above in a bank where you attract some 0 point something interest. Whereas when it is working for you in investment now, you are getting money every month, plus the longer the property stays, the more valuable it becomes. And let me just be direct and tell you that even if you don't have the deposit, and you can borrow the deposit in order to do that now, at the long run, it will really help you get that emergency. But yes, I agree with that person. People do that. They put money aside just if there's any emergency, but they will not grow. It will not grow until the 10,000 to in 3 years' time. It's still 10,000 now 10,000, 20 pounds. What you say? Whereas that 10,000, we can give in 2 years. They can give you another 10,000 or so.
But Obi was a question, and I am saying very important. Or say, how can you prepare for financial conversation when you are in a long distance relationship?
It depends on the economy the person is in and the economy the other person is in. So if I take, because we are mostly Ghanaians here, if I take Ghana for instance, the situation in Ghana is serious. What I say, and somebody here. It's usually when you're talking about financial way now, unless the person has a business and is doing very well in Ghana, it's more like the person here is going to be the lead in the conversation that must be had. But to be honest, it's the same principle. If you are already married, then you got to be able to save some monies and stuff like that. And also, if for instance you are investing in a property, then you have somebody who hopefully is not going to chop your money and is going to make sure that the properties are done and all those kind of stuff. So you can take the best out of both worlds, over there and here. But again, transparency and honesty comes into play, because definitely, depending on your situation, somebody may be in a better economy than the other, and you must be able to look at that and have a frank conversation about how you want things to work, and then implement it by view of your trust or your mutual trust.
Talking about trust. How can couples build trust? Said the na woka say wo or trust still. Enti you guys see me ko yewe or Ghana kra na sika o de ko na no mebusa say e na wo ye ne say e na ye ne say. Say e na it build the trust obi yewe ya mfifi mu bi enim ni obi a timba ne fine say maka say me yi 20 pounds if your account no e de ko yewe onim say eno a e na ne yire e de ko. How can we do that?
This way, now I'll put my pastoral hat on. It's prayer number one, because you see, nyame and the child here, and nyame ne chenipa. So nyame and chenipa, we are mobile. And so we have to wait on God that He gives us the right person, because you see, your journey in life is well enhanced if you have the right people in your circle, whether friends or marriage or whatever. In Amphophobi Wohoma, we need to decrano, on Winam no, because our Winam, that is how kind they are. We were eating together, but he will not be eating them. He would rather be encouraging you to be eating the meat and stuff like that. Why? Because they are very generous. There are people like that. Until you have to pray that God, give me a partner who loves me and cares for me, that I can trust. And you'll be a minute and pastor may be a mini back. And to trust somebody new, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, you will see it. When you meet the person, you see whether the person is trustworthy or not. And if you don't know, you pray about it, God will reveal it to you. Because there are so many wolves in sheep's skin, and they come into your life, be it friendship or marriage, they come into your life to mess it up. Into one fact, but to answer the question directly, look at somebody who is very generous. Most people who are generous are very trustworthy. If you fall in love with somebody, see know that he gives to you, because one did not fall in love with the but see what he gives to other people. See his relationship with other people, how he treats other people. Also, no, or your Obama, see how he treats the mother and other women in his life. It's a clue to his trustworthiness. Or your Baswa, see her kindness. So bad, was so bad. If she doesn't have it and she treats people bad, and all those, you are the person he treats good, there is a red flag over there. I have a whole series of character flaws that you can use to determine who is a right partner. And I don't have it, I don't go into it now. However, these are some of the clear indicators to see somebody who is trustworthy. You will know generosity. Or sorry, he must be somebody that pays tithe or gives offering generously. Another thing that you must see the person is trustworthy. So your bar, not obema, no. Catch your man say, oh, yanku me bush for and yanku me soft for and I'd be sana or resisting or camping for him. He will say things like, oh, also for them, mama farmers, so for Bakra, and now for papa, or party over here, your tea, wow, and your papa ask them that. Once they speak that way, you know that they're not trustworthy, and you are going to have a big problem marrying a person like that. Or your baswa, only about there, only color, sorry, I'm one, color, or church and color by heart, a boom background or warm trade, all that kind of stuff. These are all signs that this is the issue. So when you have been blessed by God and you have realized that this person is really trustworthy, just don't question things. Allow God to just flow in the relationship.
Allow God to flow in the relationship. Yo, I'm say questions no ebini ho no mu bi mu dia na ndi na mebusa say baba enyumre if obi ohwe wo tie na say obefa bibi baako ana say obenya a mindset shift about money in marriage, what would it be?
Understand, number one, you may not like this, but from a biblical standpoint of view, marriage is about money. That is what happened when Abraham called Eliezer to go and find a wife for. The first thing they went with was money, to demonstrate to the family that Isaac and his investments and all that the father has will be able to look after Rebecca. When you come to Rachel and Leah, the same story. And why do we Ghanaians give dowry? It's the same principle. We give the dowry to assure the parents, no say, akola na mo de maye no, hwe ya brand piutu, ya brand tuma, ya brand suitcase, ya shall say ya no. So money is fundamental. And if the money situation is made right, the love will always blossom. If the money situation is ignored, it will cause a lot of problems, and that wouldn't work. So my advice to you, if you're in marriage, revisit your financial situation and make sure there's harmony in that area. If you are now thinking to get into marriage, have a great discussion on how you're going to fund your relationship. And if you're a man, I really pity us all. Me too, I'm a man. We have the first and foremost responsibility for God's favor to fund our relationship. And the women come in to help, because that is what the Bible says. They are help suitable. And so that would be my advice for all of us.
Yo. But you better say na nyumre o time when ya ede amayen ene ababeche we. Yeah, we really appreciate you. Anytime bia ya twinsa fro bia wa oba na oni ebetwetwen ko nyame enhira pa. Na nyame yaduma on the 7th on the 8th Ghana Independence Service. No, Ghana Christian Council, UK and Ireland, edi animu with the Ghana High Commission. Ama Ghana fo nyina ahyiamu ayesa osumi ewo Westminster. Den na abeka kire obi a wo tie se o London hanoma.
Ademaka ne se yesre se o London na bomode anabra. Woni London so na wo busuan for London na from na momo kran ye be celebrate Ghana, enye MPP, enye NDC, enye PCP. Ghana for, and I will have a lot of the Ghanaian dignitaries, the High Commissioner, and all those people there to celebrate what God has done for us in our 69th anniversary. Nti me to me safre bia what line is to be. I only land na onu nuano manana for na adofo mo land na. Please catch your mo ina yenhiem on the 8th 2:00 ewo Westminster Cathedral and Westminster Methodist Hall. Yeah, ina yamra ne besum. I have been, I've enjoyed myself. And again, thank you very much for listening to me and also inviting me to this forum. God bless us all.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Yo, ebusia for ahanamo ena yede yem papa ABC. Yem papa any odiedni okendi for anase the chairperson for Ghana Christian Council UK and Ireland, and also the senior pastor for Freedom Center International Global. Ono ena wada FCI ano ewiase afane nyina omo ewo branches bebre ewo ewiase afane nyina ebra me no ka say die ene London hanom ena woni ewo yo eni tisenyame eya adoma on the 8th of March yenyina yenhyiemu ewo Westminster Central Hall ehonom ena Ghana Independence Service no ebekoso enti brand ebeken ho na yenyina yen celebrate Ghana me dane me ho na me ba it will be Taptap Send focus section. We will have a discussion about Taptap Send. Daniel ewaha ora kofi from Pon edu enso ewaha inti ombetene dwem ni nyina ye de dwumadie no atoa so me dane me ho abasisia.
So physical money and pretty me do right to say. From me send ya my in a minute in Sabakandia and then one Taptap Send.
Yeah, ebusiafo Bidindi na nakuma pachrewa 1. They recommended Taptap Send amamo. And that's how for ba. O send ko fa baby a. Na ye basa. Omo rating so ye. Omo ye A1. Nti obia no do Taptap Send. That all says ka for Taptap.
Yɛbɔ de wɔkyerɛ amansan yɛbɔ de wɔkyerɛ Ghana for say yɛwɔ akwantu ne adi sika kɔfie nie me yɛn fɛnfa baabi a yɛbɛnu yɛn ho Taptap edemu tuwa Taptap Send in this street
The Taptap de no an eko.
Taptap and one na
Piao.
Hello, this is Lawyer Wisdom of Wismart Solicitors. Join me this and every Friday on OT TV from 8 to 9 p.m. for all your UK immigration matters. I hope to see you there. Thank you.